Welcome back. So I kind of wanted to start a new series altogether, um, and kind of really get some consistency going just for this. Which, consider the fact that I am basically trading every day, I do kind of want to share what they are and kind of what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, and really kind of what's going on. So as we are going into New York, and from Friday, I was already kind of targeting this low from Wednesday. We had already hit that low going into the session. By after 8 o'clock, it was already hit. Like if you look on a 15 minute, you can kind of see we were already anticipating a sell off from PM session that we ended up taking. And kind of as we went into overnight, I want to note up close into up close candle. And as we're kind of doing that and working our way down using bearish invalidation, what have you, really nothing at all was breaking bullish, not even in the slightest. You can still see bearish stop runs on things, and the boxes are kind of just trailing the invalidation, if you will. Because even something like this, very very common trap, market makes like a double, triple push, quadruple push down, even retraces all the way up just to come back to its up close candle that the range previously came from, just to kind of basically sink off. And even same thing here, copy pasted, shoots down, consolidation, maybe even a turtle soup at the bottom to for a retrace, gets everybody on double bottom just to crush them out. Again, you came from a previous bearish range. Same thing here, same thing here, same thing here. So that pattern really itself doesn't change. So it's a very, very cool thing to use when you're looking for shorts and whatnot. So that was kind of the bias going into the session, was at least lower prices. And I was, even in my chat, I was saying looking for a move down AM session, and then just some type of like PM or even 1030 reversal, what have you. Just something off the open. I wanted to go lower no matter what. And so as we go to like the 3 minute chart, I did the complete opposite of that, and that's kind of why I wanted to start this series this way. So we already knew that we were coming from a bearish range. We have nice rejection block bottom, what have you. This is the last thing you want to see is a bearish turtle soup if you're bullish. Turtles shouldn't house liquidity, and they won't until they do. And also I'll leave it at that one. So we have our candle trail highs, and then also this stop out here. I basically went long. I posted in around 948. So once we had this sweep out here, I was willing to buy it, and I did so. And that was pretty much the whole story, as you can kind of see. Now, as for what happened afterwards, while I was watching it live, this BISI clearly failed. Honestly, the dead giveaway was I was watching this 1 minute to be here that was hitting, and I really disregarded that there was nothing else in the range for it to hold. And while it did end up sweeping it, there was no expansion past this to continue, and that's really kind of what I was looking for. And that's honestly, as a pattern or even with some logic, is fine. But I will say that when it's one thing that you're thinking and then you're doing the exact opposite of that in your execution, really is it really is baffling. And that's kind of what I wanted to show here and make it about. So I did notice, even while I was live and watching the trade, I did notice this sweep here, you're only stopping out highs, to go short. You start running your down close highs here, and you really never got above anything at all. And I basically bag held the thing underneath here, tried to add around 952, what have you. But again, I knew to cut the trade underneath this low, and I didn't. Market kept capitulating lower. Even the 1030 bottom we had, I really wanted to get out around here. But again, ended up swirling, basically. Run all this internal, move up, and then push lower. Identical to all of this. Same thing. Multi-push up to retrace into whatever, to then go lower, multi-push up to retrace, to go lower, multi-push up, to go lower, multi-push up, to go lower. So this in itself here is not new, and it's not, for me specifically, I'm really not caught off guard by these types of moves, even when I'm completely offside and I'm aware that I'm offside. I'm still able to see it now, which is nice. Makes the internal conflict a bit more crazier, but I can tell where it's going whether I'm on side or not, which is cool, I guess. And even if I wasn't, you have a symbol such as, or even if you were bullish and you are trying to ride this, which if you took this as a retracement or reversal, that's on you in terms of what you think it's going to do for a target. But in terms of a long slash fractal slash CSD even, you pretty much did it here, and then it was kind of running up from there over some internal buy side. So even if you quote unquote partial, you might have been okay. But regardless of whether you're trading this for a retracement or reversal, and you may not have known that, the last thing you want to see is a SIBI, in this case, on your retracement. And then you get something like this, same thing, kind of like we had to open, Turtle Soup's IOFED right into it. Generally is going to indicate lower prices. Same thing here, Turtle Soup, IOFED, lower prices. And even something like this low sitting here and not getting hit is just sitting there to generate basically extra sell side, because people are going to buy it off double, triple quad bottom just to roll over and then crush them through. It's the exact same thing you do here. You get everybody to buy it after this up move, you retrace into an order block, and then you just, people think, lows ran, stop out, I can buy it. Even me, I was guilty. Low ran, stop run, buy it. You're getting new parties in to buy it when that happens, in this case for buying. But it's just to basically crush them all through, all that new liquidity that entered the market that wasn't there previously. Because you still have mental stop people are still holding this, especially this up move here, because they may have been even hit drawdown here. Even if they bought something like down here, they're now up, you could even say. But again, it's really just a drag and rug pull that direction out, and like basically it's used for expansion, for new price delivery, like for price or like engineered origins, even if you will. So as you're kind of doing that same thing here, you have an order block, trades back up into it. All of this just for internal to keep going lower, and even if you were to not do that, just only look at like Turtle Soups, what have you. SIBI, you're running basically from here to here, every failure swing prior, and then again you have a bearish turtle with, if turtles aren't going to house, this can be your order block that protects. Market's going to keep going lower. Turtle Soup again, right back into the up closed candle while everyone else is buying this, and then you finally get, even if you wanted to, a 2022 basically tried and true with a BPR. So it gets really, really quick once it leaves that. And again, when you see that type of fake bottom or that fake generation, you should absolutely be expecting it for expansion, essentially, through that direction or through that plane. Especially once, because everyone that was here that bought this stopped sitting underneath here. They try to hold it, they're still holding it, or for some, their stop's not hit. And even when it does get hit, they might even be inclined to rebuy it on something like this. But if you read the market left to right, or just in general, and use your Turtle Soups as your invalidation, and remembering where your range is coming from, very, very less likely to get caught off guard by moves like this. Or even if you do, and this is like, say, 1 hour setup, your day trade or your New York session might be this whole up move, for example. That's not here nor there. Market's fractal. Anyways, so knowing all of that, I still held through basically all this entire down move, and I got margin called at 11:46. Was the whole reason for that story. And so I really wanted to kind of take some step back and really talk about like what happened, and even for me knowing exactly what is going on in the market, still not doing anything about it. And basically I didn't want to realize the loss that I had. And so when you don't want to do that, what do you try to do? You end up trying to hold the trade or avoid it, or if you're at work even, you might just put your phone away, come back to it, try to do a different time, what have you. So it ends up doing that. And again, for me personally, I'm aware of kind of what's going on in that ordeal there. So really it just completely capitulated. I got margin called at the bottom. Even the long that I tried taking from here to here, I ended up scratching it basically for here, and then ended up buying this BISI just off whatever this was, because I just did, because it was a 3-minute BISI. Does it, and again, even something like this, it's bullish until it's not, and that's totally fine. Because even like this Bissy here failing, you do get bearish turtle soup right there, which isn't the best sign, and that's okay also. But realistically and truthfully, I had a feeling that these lows were kind of dead already just from seeing it, and that's why I was so reluctant to long it. Longed it anyways. So really, by the time we came back through the range, it was pretty toast. And realistically, once I saw kind of this CSD down here on bodies or just closing below up close lows, I really started playing the down close candle game, and I pretty much knew that we were kind of toast. And even if you don't want to play that here and you just want to play turtles, you could argue that you have a turtle soup down here. All of this is an internal run or like model number 2 to continue, which is great. Okay, protection point, protection point. Mind you, you're still using your bearish protection as well. But have you not been and just switched to bullish for whatever reason, or even just because, you're going to be using it from a pattern or logic standpoint. Another bullish turtle soup, another IOFED bullish turtle soup, and then you're supposed to get one here and it fails. So even if you don't use this one, you have this bullish turtle soup here that clearly gets closed in. And if you don't want to use something up in the premium, and you want to use like a discount PD array, whatever, same thing. This low here starts to get closed below. And if you remember from earlier, you do not want to see an FVG, or in this case a SIBI, on your retracement. Ever. So when you get something like this and you even print a SIBI and then you IOFED it, that should indicate lower prices just off of bearish turtle soup and kind of those multiple things there. So then you do get literally lower prices. You get another one here by a couple ticks. Perfect. Notice how you get lower prices afterwards. And really, fractally, order block, multiple drive down, retracement up into the order block, sinks it, good night. So I ended up longing again this Bissy here to basically bag hold into oblivion. And then I tried to buy one more just because, and at that point I stopped caring. And I basically sold down here at the bottom. I tried going short after this, but the delivery was already done. The day was already done. It was way too late in the day to even be possible. Did it anyways. So that was kind of just a bad short there. Ended up slipping long again. Rode it for a little bit, and then tried shorting again, and then got hit. And then at that point, market just kept rallying because I realized that by the time you were running over this, and especially this here, you were running over this high. These were breakaways. And again, for me, and for everything that I know, all the ICT that I've done, I know again what's going on, even if I'm executing the opposite of it, as hard as it is to say out loud. That is why I'm doing this series, though, is I really want to showcase journaling and show people like what's actually going on, basically. So, because again, this whole, even through here, buying, I didn't want to accept the loss. I didn't want to take the loss, so I tried to avoid the loss. And how do you avoid the loss? You hold the trade. Kept trying to do that over and over and over until the loss is forced, until your hand is forced anyways, regardless. So even in that regard, there's no point in trying to avoid a loss. You're going to get hit with one either way. In this case, it might even be a larger one because you tried to avoid it for so long. And even especially looking back at this, had I gotten out at that 1030 pump, whatever, I truly knew that I could have either shorted this back down to capture basically the same range. You look at like the width of this, or like, I'm sorry, the length of this and the length of this, and you ride any of this anywhere down, you can pretty much make back the underline on the short had I switched. But if you hold the long the whole way down, it's not going to matter, obviously. But I absolutely had opportunities to switch, and I just did not. And that was my own doing. And especially with these buys here, these were honestly probably my worst trades, only because I consciously knew that we were pretty much going to keep going lower. And once this whole 1030 pop, whatever, started to fail, it was pretty obvious that it was going to just roll over completely. Smart money's going to move with speed, and they're never going to go slow. So they're not going to just lollygag and then just dart like that. And obviously previous range bearish, but even just in hindsight, this kind of pattern here, once you start to fail that, you're pretty much toast. Because again, you're just generating extra buys on people offside to crush them all through and roll them over. And then they all capitulate. They think it's safe to buy. They get in. or new people, or those old people leave, new people come in, and then you repeat it, and then you just crush it all immediately and roll it over, and then you keep expanding further to flush out the people that bought this, to try to hold this. That's to flush them out. So yeah, that was probably honestly the worst trade of the session, was those there, because they were knowingly buys that were dead already after having locked down probably 60%. Now maybe like 40, 45 to 50% on the account at this point, as like when I'm hitting these. And again, I knew it was going to go lower. I pretty much knew. So if anyone has anything on that, I'd love to hear it. Yeah, and then basically same thing over again. The long, it was whatever, but it wasn't protected. It was not managed at all. I literally just, even though I was buying more and adding to it, whatever, it was just held into oblivion for no reason. And not for no reason. It was pretty much the same reason. I didn't want to take the loss, especially for it being green, and I knew I shouldn't have traded. I knew I should have been done after that point. Basically just going against myself and almost my own words, if you could even argue. And then just let it roll over against me when I knew that I didn't have to do that. And I knew I could have sold it at any point here, because I already knew the range was dead. Like, I'm past that point where I kind of know what's going on with the market, even when I'm offside or onside, or you're just flat, whatever. Like, I can tell what's happening now. And if anything, I could argue I can see it even better when I'm offside. I see that even easier, because it's like I know that it's a bad thing to be doing. Maybe that's something there. But yeah, it's going to be the first of hopefully many of these. Because I really just wanted to kind of take some setbacks and showcase like how good 2.5 years of ICT can get you in terms of market analysis. But I'm also realizing now that it means nothing. And it's not so much that I even wasted time in it, because I don't truly believe that I did, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. But it's now the wrong thing to focus on. And there's really no more learning that needs to be done in terms of the chart. And so I really just wanted to do this journaling to kind of kickstart the rest of it, and especially knowing that I now have to show people how I traded and how I bag held something or just bought on the wrong side of the curve, when I have rules and agendas, what have you, to not do that, only to then literally go and do that and make it public. It's kind of crazy. So that's kind of why I'm doing this. If you guys have anything, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate it. If you have anything ICT related, leave in the comment section below. I'm more than happy to make a video about it. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.